But we did it. June 28th last year was our first show. Obviously, that would have been last week, the official anniversary, but Anthony and I were out. So we are happy to celebrate today 1 year of the Hoffman Show. Anthony, we did it, man. We made it through 1 year.
Yes, we did. And many more years to come.
Yes, many more years to come. And to think back even just over the sports stories of the last year. Like, we can relive some of our favorites. Maybe that, we should pocket that for Wednesday. Maybe make like a top 5 list. But just think of the sports stories we covered in our first year. Our first show was basically on the eve of the Wizards, giving Beal the contract with the no trade clause. Right? So we had all that. Our first guest on the show was Tommy Sheppard. You'll hear a little bit of that interview and the interview in a moment as we relive some of the most notable moments of the show. Obviously, we took over in the midst of some of the investigations and things that were already underway, but in year one of our show, we saw some of the punches finally land for the first time. We saw all the, Dan on his yacht, all that kind of stuff that happened over the course of last summer. Ultimately, the ESPN report that drops in October. I will never forget that day. I don't remember the actual date, but it was a Thursday, and the Commanders were playing on Thursday Night Football that night. Our show started at 3, and we didn't talk about the game until 5:20, 5:30 that night, because ESPN drops this mega story that ultimately is the thing that punctures the Snyder's ship, if you will, punctures their yacht. It proverbially sinks. And they have Bank of America on the phone within a couple weeks even, to sell. And so we followed that process, the whole sale process with Josh Harris. We've seen, obviously, Sheppard and that era end and Beal get traded. Just the amount of sports stuff. I mean, we were on the air for 2-3 weeks when Juan Soto got traded. The amount of stuff that we have seen with literally every franchise. We didn't really cover it a ton, but the Capitals fired their coach and hired a new one. Every single major team has gone through something over the last year. We've obviously had stuff with the Mystics, Mike Tebow retiring and Eric taking over. The Spirit have had a crazy year. The rehiring of Mark Parsons and the firing of their coach after last season, a year after they won a title. The amount of sports stuff that's happened that we have had to talk about, not all of it's been fun, not all of it's been good, so I don't want to say we've been blessed by it, but I'll put it this way, Anthony. We sure haven't been short on content.
You ain't lying, man. At all.
Now, we'll see how the next couple of weeks go. I feel like year 2 could get off to a pretty barren start. But we start in our look back. You just played the inaugural mess, so I pulled that clip, Anthony, but I'm not even going to play it anymore because you did that off the top. But, our first interview was Tommy Sheppard last year. And, our plan was every summer to have Tommy Sheppard on. And, Tommy's, I guess, stood us up now. Tommy, thanks so much for doing this. Certainly hope that you're someone we can call up and have on a semi-regular basis. Promise not to bug you too much, but thanks for joining us here on the first edition of the Hoffman Show.
Hey, I'll be on any time, but definitely on day 365, we have to have an anniversary call. So just put that in the calendar. I'll be there.
Consider it done. Tommy, thanks so much, man.
All right, man. Good luck. Good luck with the show.
Thank you. Yikes.
Got stood up, man.
Yeah. What happens if we had found Tommy's number and called him? Tommy, you told us. It was in our calendar.
That would have been crazy.
I don't want to make light of it, man. The man lost his job, but
nah, he did.
It is the kind of thing that, if you think about last year when we had him on, we had thought that dude's job security was airtight. If you had told me who has a better chance of making it a year, us or Tommy, I might have told you Tommy. Yet here we are. Now, of course, we asked on Twitter for everybody's favorite moment of the show. We have a couple really good ones that people sent in. But the overwhelming favorite was, of course, the Tommy Sheppard interview that a lot of people think got the ball rolling towards the end of the Tommy Sheppard era. And in particular, Anthony, this moment right here. why is this the right group that can ultimately elevate out of the middle of the Eastern Conference and contend in a conference with some really, really talented teams, especially the top in Boston and Milwaukee currently, with plenty of others hot on their tail?
Well, again, a lot of it is your projections. It sounds like you're not much of a Kyle fan, but we think
I
Kyle's
am.
Really
it's
done
just
well here.
it's really
And
hard
I think,
to
let me
see.
finish.
Yeah.
I think that those guys really haven't had an opportunity to play together very much.
Turns out they wouldn't. Turns out they wouldn't.
Are you a Kyle Kuzma fan?
That's the crazy thing,
I was
man.
just curious. I'm just going over what Tommy said.
That's the crazy thing is like I am a big Kyle Kuzma fan. But what's nuts is like you got to make choices in this league, man. You have to understand timelines, and the timeline for Bradley Beal, Kyle Kuzma, and Kristaps Porzingis to win a championship together was never. And so if that's the case, you need to trade them to get assets so you can build a championship timeline that has an actual end date, we should be competitive for a championship at some point during this. And that's the thing that Tommy just didn't seem to get or, at least publicly defended. And it seemed like whenever he had a chat after the season with Ted Leonsis, he couldn't really sell much of a plan either. And I think the thing about that interview, and I've said this before since Tommy got let go, do I think that led directly to him getting fired? No. 2, I do not want that on my name. This is an adult with a family, and I'm not in the business of getting people fired. I am in the business of holding people accountable, which means asking questions that might have difficult answers. I don't really necessarily believe in difficult questions. If it's a difficult question, it's probably because you're kind of uncomfortable with the answer. If I ask you if a parent who your favorite kid is, it's only a difficult question if you have one, because then you're like, oh, well, the little one's kind of a brat, and I don't really like him. Like, you don't want to say that out loud. You're just like, oh, I don't have a favorite kid. I love my kids equally. Okay, well, it wasn't a very difficult question, then, was it? But with Tommy, it was like, I'm asking you questions about how long should a fan base that hasn't had a 50-win season since 1979 and hasn't made the playoffs in a couple years and hasn't had a real legitimate championship contender in a long time, like how much patience should we have here? Like, what is the plan? How do you plan on adding the pieces you need to get to a championship level? And he didn't have the answers. And I think the way it wasn't so much how he answered the questions, Anthony, that I think played a role in Leonsis' ultimate decision. It was the violence, if you will, of the fan reaction. The way that interview hit people was wild. I heard from people in the league. I heard, every Wizards fan felt like they heard it. Like, I get when people are like, meet me now, and they're like, oh yeah, didn't you do that interview with Tommy Sheppard? I'm like, yeah, I did. Wild. And again, I'm not in this to get people fired. I'm not in this for people to lose their jobs. I'm in here to ask questions that I think serve my audience, which is your fan base if you're an executive. And I think we did a good job with that one.
Yes, sir.
And it's why it stuck. Let's see. What else do we got in here? Another one more on the semi-serious side of things. And then we had a lot of great guests and a lot of funny moments that we can relive. Melanie Coburn reached out to congratulate us on a year. And obviously, Melanie, part of the group of former Commanders employees who, spoke up, spoke out, and ultimately spoke truth to power in an incredible way that leads to all the things that lead to Dan Snyder selling the team. And there was a point kind of in that process where Tanya had taken a more forward-facing role. And I was very interested as the team was like pushing Tanya to get Melanie's thoughts and Megan Imbert and the people who are at the center of this thing, their thoughts on Tanya, because I do not see Tanya as some hero that was prepared to save the day. I saw her as someone who was there the whole time, someone who had her name on the statements that were upsetting and aggressive and antagonistic. And so Melanie reached out and just said, congrats on a year and thank you for always taking the time for us and asking fair questions and giving us a space to give answers. And I asked Melanie when she was on after all the Tanya stuff, like what her thoughts and experiences with Tanya Snyder were.
The one podcast she did last year after becoming sort of the acting owner or acting CEO was throw us under the bus. You know, we were ridiculous and the media can say anything and our family's gone through so much. And, you know, just having that woe is me attitude. I just think that they lack self-awareness and they lack any kind of empathy. And she actually said like, oh, we've apologized numerous times. And that's just not true. I have never received an apology. No one ever received any response after the Wilkinson investigation wrapped up. And as a matter of fact, my attorneys were asked for a meeting with Lisa Friel. Like we were wanting answers. We wanted to understand why it was buried, when that's not sort of how they represented it to us. And, you know, Tanya also not accepting her role in sort of that and still playing the we're a victim role.
So to be clear, any kind of transfer of ownership to Tanya or anything like that would be completely unsatisfactory.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely not.
Turns out the ownership's going to be transferred to Josh Harris. And again, like, I don't know how much that contributed to anything. I think it was important for people to hear, but one of the huge moments for sure, and I think this interview was well after that, this had happened, but like Tanya getting booed when she was put on the big screen at FedEx Field, I think that was the final nail in the coffin. Like, I think she was like, oh, they hate me too? No. We are out of this. Daniel, sell this team right now. And they did. Now, a lot of our guests we had a lot of fun with. And I think, Anthony, the best part about doing this show is, like, I've been in this industry for over 10 years at this point, and I've made just so many great friends in it. And the ability to have my friends who have also grown in the industry and, like, or have amazing big jobs, have them on and talk shop is the best. And, like, it's good. I'm not just having them on because they're my friends. They're the people I would call if I didn't know them. But the fact that they are my friends leads to some pretty fun moments in the history of the show. One of those was about Snyder when we were on the road at the NFL Combine. My good friend Brooke Pryor from ESPN, who covers the Steelers, she doesn't have the same worries that we do.
It is kind of
You don't have to worry about your owner.
Right, and that is wonderful. There are things that you worry about, like the normal ebbs and flows of the NFL season, injuries, free agency, stuff like that. But I can go to sleep at night, and I have a do not disturb that turns on at like 11:30. I'm usually still awake, so I'll check my notifications periodically. But I'm not worried that another lawsuit is going to drop, or some more allegations, or an ESPN story. And I love that for me. I go to sleep without
Anthony,
this
cut that
dread.
for an open. We need that. That's going in the regular rotation.
Wound up in the open files. It wound up in the year anniversary files. Our good friend Adam Amin was frequently on the show. He called a number of Commanders games this past year, and even during in between just phenomenal analysis, he would give us the encouragement that we needed.
I think you've made me feel better than anyone else on the show today. So thanks for that.
I'm happy to alleviate any stress and pressure that you might feel. You're my guy. You guys are doing a great job. Keep you're doing great, sweetie. I promise.
Anthony, clip that for an open. I'm never. Do you ever just do it without me telling you? You do all the time, don't you?
Yes.
We should have clipped the clips, if you will. That's fine. Whatever. Of course, every Friday, we're blessed by the one and only Clinton Yates. He's given us many. We could have done an entire segment of just Yates clips. This one around the Super Bowl was probably one of my favorites.
I lied. One more question. Halftime.
Okay, that's fair.
That's not even a question. I'm just going to say halftime and let you go.
Work, Love in a Hopeless Place, Umbrella, and probably my brother sent me a whole playlist I was supposed to tell. I forgot. But those are the 3-4 I want to hear for sure.
Do you think we get new music?
Work. I don't care if we get new music. I want to see
That was a real question. That was journalism, Clinton. Do we get new music?
I repeat, this is also journalism. I do not care. what we see is what we get. That's journalism, buddy.
The Fenty Bowl. Take it, enjoy it, whatever you want. Just be good with it. Clinton Yates, everybody. What do you want around the horn next week? I don't care. Whatever. Anthony, go to break. And then we did. We just went to break.
That man Clinton, dog. He's hilarious.
For all we know, Clinton is still singing in whatever room he was in February.
I think one time we have him on Friday, I have to play Rebecca Black. I don't think I've done that to him yet.
Oh, that's a good one.
He has not gotten that experience yet.
That's true. Damon Amendolara, also frequent guest on the show, and there was a point, Anthony, that we had discovered that you had not had, in your life, tasted a dumpling.
Nope.
And so we got you some dumplings, and we brought DA in on the bit, and then there was the grand reveal between us and Damon. We went to Mama Chang's. We got some dumplings takeout. We brought them in, and we did rectify the situation on the air. So Anthony has now consumed a dumpling. Actually, two.
Well, you guys are problem solvers, which is why I agree to come on your show. I like that. You guys look for solutions. And so, what was the outcome? What's Anthony say?
Hey, DA, I'm not gonna lie. I love dumplings.
There we go.
This is why I can respect you now, because you had never had it, you were worried about it, then you had it, and you are a man enough to admit they're delicious upon first taste. Okay, I'm in.
He's in.
That was hilarious. I think it was the brief pause.
Yeah.
That really
sold it.
Yeah.
Excellent job out of you.
Thank you.
Have you had any dumplings since?
I have not ordered any. No, I have not.
Have you had some without ordering them?
No.
Just the way you phrased that was very weird.
It was.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, we went to a place in Vegas that had I would describe it as like a double-decker dumpling. One of the craziest, best bites I've ever. It was like a shrimp dumpling on top and a soup dumpling on the bottom. Ugh. Incredible.
Quick question, though.
Yeah.
When you order dumplings,
yeah,
can you order them as like an appetizer?
Yeah, that's typically how people do it.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen them on the menu then. That's probably what it is.
Okay, we're gonna take you to a restaurant. All right, we gotta get that on the schedule. Okay, she writes that down. Of course, the other biggest piece of viral content that happened in year one of this show, outside of the Sheppard interview, was the Anthony Haney, Linnell Willingham basketball. It was supposed to be a showdown. It just turned into a beatdown. There will never be a part two. Linnell didn't earn it, and he can run his gums on Twitter all he wants to until Elon tells him that he's exceeded his rate limit. But there's never going to be a part two. I will never play him. People asking for it are wasting their time and energy and frankly annoying me. But it did happen, and it does seem worth reliving one more time. And it basically happened because I got fed up of you two goofuses talking. I just was like, this has to happen so it can be over. And yeah, that's what happened. Here's what we need to do right now. I'm tired of hearing about this basketball game. We're scheduling this game. Linnell is yelling through the glass in the break about how he wants promotion. I'm dedicating the first segment of the show to this. We are scheduling it. We are going to figure out when it's going to happen. Yeah. We'll start promoting it, and then we'll see what happens.
He challenged me.
You challenged me. Don't say I challenged you.
Either way.
I came
No. Don't either way this.
I mean,
because you know what you sound like? You sound like you're trying to weasel out of this.
Yeah, he is, Craig.
All right, 11 a.m. on
11
Saturday.
a.m. Saturday.
Sometime around noon, Linnell walked in. It did not go well for him. The recap, what was this, Monday after? As you bask in your glory of an 11-2 victory, how do you feel on this Monday?
To be honest, Craig, it feels good to, have beaten Linnell, but at the same token, I'm not necessarily proud of my performance just because it really should have been 11-0. I think I let down my guard a little bit, gave him a free bucket, and then it also took me a long time to get on the scoreboard.
You guys didn't score for like 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, it was a long time.
And so by the time Linnell finally gets the first bucket, and then you ran it from there, we're talking like 3.5 minutes to beat him 11-2. It was not pretty.
It was ugly. It
was terrible.
Real fast.
Wasted my time.
Yep. But I enjoyed playing big.
Yeah, no, that was fun.
That was a lot.
We had a good time beforehand. That was far more enjoyable. Although you kicking his ass did make for better content. This clip is very long. I want to play it anyway. I don't care. It's my birthday party. for the show. Our birthday party for the show. It's
Yes,
your actual birthday party. Have you had more of the cake?
I have not. I've been working, so it's been tough.
Fair.
And I really don't want them to,
You don't want people to watch you eat cake?
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. Perhaps my favorite thing, though, I'm saying this 100% earnestly, perhaps my favorite thing, probably my favorite thing, is working with you every day. And knowing that every day I come in here, there's a chance for a moment like this. Cue the amphibians. I love that. They're in the middle there.
Left people are ambidextrous for real. All left people are ambidextrous. It's a real thing.
I saw that get retweeted in my timeline by someone who is left-handed. And he's like, yeah, I write left-handed, but I play sports right-handed. LeBron James is like that.
I was about to say LeBron James. My favorite player is that way.
LeBron James is left-handed, but is the best player maybe ever right-handed.
Possibly.
I mean, it's and that's, which is funny because like there's been times when like his jump shot has really struggled where he's like, maybe I should just shoot left-handed. People are like, why would you do that? It's like, because I'm left-handed. Like, oh.
I think you cheat the game when you're ambidextrous.
Are you ambidextrous?
I'm not. I'm far from it.
Are you amphibious?
Does that mean I'm no, what? Hold on. I know what an amphibian is. Thanks, Craig.
You're welcome.
I'm not an animal.
No, you're not. But, and no, we exist on the ground. But I can swim, so that's good. I can exist for short periods of time in the water. That's amphibians are the ones that can do land or water.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, being amphibious doesn't necessarily make you an amphibian.
That's fair. Are you?
I mean, I can't like live underwater, but I can swim. So there's that. What a dumb show we do. Happy birthday!
Thank you, dog. That is actually one of the funniest. I purposely didn't put that one in the folder, to be honest. I was not going to do that. It's all good, though.
I found it. That was one of the first clips I thought of. Just the total fun that we have. We had a saying. I'm trying to remember what it was. I think it's on our page. It's our show motto. I should probably know it. But when CK, our boss, asked us, or asked me specifically, what's the ethos of the show? Like, what do you want it to be? Here's what I said. I was like, it's smart, it has a conscience, and we also have a really good time. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to do a show that is smart, that you come to because you want an informed take that is reasonable, that is not someone trying to just see if they can go viral because the take is so hot and stir up controversy. I wanted to rely on the reporting that I've done for 10 years of covering the NFL, covering the NBA, getting to know people inside those leagues and do something that was smart. I wanted to have a show that had a conscience. I wanted to talk about important issues in sports. I wanted to have big-time guests on to talk about stories in a way that you weren't going to hear in other places because those types of things matter. But I also wanted to have a hell of a good time. And I think we have gone check, 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 even just reliving those memories. Check, check, check for year one. Off we go on year two. We appreciate everyone who has stuck with us and found us along the way. We've grown to be a digital show as well on YouTube. The podcast numbers keep growing. So no matter how you consume us, live or on demand, any day, we appreciate you and hope that you'll continue supporting us into year two. When we get back, we wrap up this here anniversary show, getting back to NBA free agency, talk about some of the biggest moves made and not made. It's the Hoffman Show on the Team 980 and always live on the free Odyssey app.
What's up, kiddos? It's your boy Clinton Yates from ESPN. It's the Hoffman Show on the Team 980. Tell your mama I said what's up.